work in their lulls. It would upgrade the properties, make them look really good. A fellow on Avenel that was up towards the corner was scraping and painting the metal uprights to his front flat roof porch within the last 3 weeks. And I was doing a door-to-door thing and was standing there talking to him, and he was sanding and stripping, and it was just a nightmare. And I said, if we ever would offer, a special deal to do something like this, would that be of interest to you? He said, I'd stop today and buy it. He said, if it is a good rate, a good, somebody that the village approves and we can trust, and it would help us upgrade the property. Oh, he says that would be terrific. So I don't want that to get lost. We've talked about it off and on and never moved on it. We need to.
Do you have any contractors that live in Green Hills that we know of that we could reach out to?
Sure.
We do.
And I'm also thinking again I'm hoping that the home thing we do it at least twice a year, if not once quarterly, and each one could maybe have a different little slant to it, that we could maybe do one for the historic properties and have that kind of thing.
Well, and that would be something that doesn't cost us anything, but it does help people upgrade. And then maybe you need to get back to your idea of giving them a
Well, what happened to that was I talked to Terry. Terry volunteered for help, and then I talked to 2 or 3 other people about that. They're in different parts of the community, and I was getting the same thing from all them. Terry was for it, but all the other folks said, we got all kinds of awards now. If you just one more award isn't really gonna. That's not gonna motivate anybody.
Well, maybe it's not an award, recognition of some kind,
Well, that's what I said. Put it in the paper, and my idea was to see if Home Depot could maybe do a gift certificate or be a sponsor of the program. And I did talk to them, and I would say I wouldn't say there's no interest, but I think probably these people are in the same boat that a lot of businesses are. They're not looking to spend more money. They're
cautious.
They're looking to spend less money. So
Well,
it was lukewarm at best. But the idea of these kids, I've brought this up several times. What these kids have done, we need to figure out a way to kind of stick that up in front of people's faces where they see it. What these UC kids did on redesigning these buildings and all that. If we could kind of, I don't know how you do this, but I always thought that if the only way that thing's going to get some momentum is if somebody does one building.
Exactly.
Right.
And I don't know.
Well, and
We
that's
can't
what I'm
afford
thinking
to
with
do
our
it.
vacant buildings. Again, I don't know how if we can reduce those to an electronic format, that I could be sending those out to people to show them, here's a unit, here are some concepts, and
if we could get one person interested in doing a model, would be the ideal thing. But we can't afford to do that, so it's going to have to be a private enterprise kind of thing. But I would just encourage us not to lose sight of that. There are things we can do. It's going to take extra energy. You can't be all sucked into all of that, but other people might be able to. And so let's go in that direction a little bit.
Okay, and maybe to some extent the money, if we get the grant money for the home exterior property maintenance, that might help.
That might help with that.
As well, the package.
Have anybody thought about contacting some of the, like Butler County Tech? They have X amount of students that have to do X amount of work to graduate, and it's supervised by...
We've used Scarlet Oaks, the same thing. And the deal there is, at least our experience has been that, once in a while a good class comes through with a good teacher and good quality work, and then a year or two you get trash that you have to either redo or sorry you got into it. So that's, it's a good idea if we have,
we do have a professor, a teacher that lives in the area,
Yeah.
And
Who's that?
it's on Damon, and he has done a lot of work in his home through them.
Okay, well, I would say it isn't something to
Yeah.
discount, but we've tried that. We've used it some, and the last effort was, not really good.
Okay.
Well, they didn't even get finished, did they? When they
No.
pulled off?
Yeah.
No,
Well, let's do that.
Maybe you see architecture department if they have anything that they,
well, those are, it's all ideas. I'm just saying, and we can't do it here in finance committee, but I'm just
Okay.
saying that while we were talking about the apartments, and because I'm not going to be, I might be in one more of these meetings, I didn't want to forget to bring that up, that I think there are some incentive things that we can do as a village to help move the properties a little bit along and make people take more pride in their own ownership, take better care of the properties then, and, you know, the whole cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Great.
okay.
Okay, I think we covered all the ones that we have for today.
So then that appropriation will have to do really with just the apartments.
Well,
please.
these are just the pieces we have ready
So it may
for
encompass
today.
something
The
else.
next time, we'll probably have the rest of the special revenue accounts. And then, I don't know how many times we're gonna meet, but I know we have, are we gonna have another work session in November? You had talked about that.
Not in, we often, or we
Hadn't been
used,
discussed. I
we
don't think.
try to take if we have 5 Tuesdays, the 5th Tuesday,
Mhm.
we would have as a meeting to review the comprehensive plan and see where we are with that and so on.
Okay, well,
So-
if we were gonna meet 2 more times, I would say the next time would be all the special revenue accounts, and then the last meeting would be general fund. If we're only gonna have 1 more meeting, then we can combine those.
Mhm.
One more meeting, a finance meeting. You're not talking about a work session, or you're talking about a work session?
I think finance,
Yeah, okay.
You'll have one more work session.
right, and that works, and that's December, right? Cause I think
Yeah.
the December work session, we'll have to have a special session to actually pass the temporary. But we can continue to work on the permanent.
We, in the past, sometimes have flip-flopped the December meetings and made the first one of our workshop.
That might be a good
And
idea.
later, because of appropriations, I mean, sometimes they haven't been ready or we couldn't get everything done, and so we would make our official December meeting later in the month.
Mhm.
So it may, you know, you'll have to talk to Fred and,
Depends on what kind
Okay.
of progress you
Yeah.
guys make and
Okay.
have it
Mhm.
ready,
Oh,
what
yeah, I
the
think that'd
timing
be a
is.
great idea. That would work good,
Yeah.
cause then we could probably give you everything.
and you might
Gives
need
us
to
a
tell him
lot
that you
of
need,
certainty
you
with
need that.
appropriations, too,
Mhm.
if we have anything.
Well, we're looking at 2 weeks
Right.
down the road, so if we can do that, we need to go ahead.
Yeah, you,
Okay.
you
Do the
need to,
meetings.
because that means they're gonna have to make public announcements and
Okay,
set it up with Waycross differently
You
and
just wanna
everything.
just flip-flop the 2 meetings
okay.
with the
Are you-
middle of the
Are you guys
month?
okay with that?
Oh, yeah.
If you
Okay.
need it, that's what we
I
have
think
done
it'd be
that.
great, because then, I mean, we definitely need that last one in December to be a voting,
Mm-hmm,
so we might as well go ahead and switch them.
mm-hmm,
Well, then we
Okay.
should probably plan a meeting,
before that.
what, do you wanna meet before the December work session? Before that, which would be the first Tuesday, that would be
6.
either meet next week or the week after again, or is that too
What do you
soon?
think? Well, not next week, but the week after, maybe?
That would be after Thanksgiving holiday,
Mhm.
would that,
Didn't we just
I
schedule
mean, we
something
only
for the
have a
30th?
3-week.
The
week
30th
next
is,
Yeah.
traffic
week. I mean, a
safety.
3-day week,
Okay,
does that allow us any time to work on it?
yeah.
What's,
It does me-
what-
I take
what's
it no
December
more.
meeting, when is that?
December.
6th and the 20th.
so what's the 6th?
6th is the first Tuesday. And the 20th is the,
Well, you wanna
second.
make it the last Tuesday in November, which would be,
The 20th.
what?
29th? Is that the
It'd be the-
29th?
Oh, the last
Yeah,
one,
it'd be 29th, right?
29th of November.
Well, let's make it can we do this on a Tuesday? 'Cause we got my
Sure,
grandson
fine
here
with
Wednesday
me.
and Thursday, and
Yeah.
and I have to get my daughter to come over and stay with him when,
Tuesday's fine for me.
okay, when I make it, that would be Tuesday, the,
29 at 3.
yeah. Tuesday, 11/29. good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll go ahead and give it to Kathy then.
Okay, great.
Well, you need to check with Fred and everybody, make sure that that's okay.
Flipping the meetings,
Mhm.
okay.
We've done it. We've done it a number of years, but you need to make sure that everybody's okay with that.
Okay.
Two of us are.
We don't have the authority to just blatantly say, move it.
I'm not gonna make a note of that, that's not really, we're talking about it, but it's not really a finance, necessarily a finance issue. I guess it is kind of a finance issue. Okay. Let's see, village income taxes. Well, about what we said there is we've got,
We got a $36,000
$36,000.
payment in the month of October. And we're hoping for, what was that number in November we saw?
Well,
It was
it's
only
27,000.
It was
We're
only
hoping that
27,000
that's
through
gonna
the
be
11th, so
significantly
yeah.
higher, yeah.
So we're hoping for a nice payment.
That's after just like 5 days.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, 27,006.
how do they let you know? You can just like go on their website and see what they've collected before you get the payment? Is that how that works?
We have had, in fact, I'll inform the committee that we, yes, we now have a software and we go through, I guess they call it a portal, to access certain information. And there's 3 of us who have access to that, and we have all signed a confidentiality agreement and have that in our files, just so you know that. It's Connie, Kim, and I. And so yes, we're able to get
And
some
one
basic
day
data.
I go and check the PNC bank account and there's just a payment there.
Payment in
A
there.
windfall.
A win, yes, and I've got
We
to
all
go
get
figure out
happy.
where it come from, yeah, and then I trace it back to Rita.
Hardly wait to get to work every day just to see what's going on.
I know, check the bank and see what am I looking for today, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what's the next item on the agenda? Discuss any needed updates after submittal to council. I think that was a sentence that I left on here from the capital improvement plan.
And I'm sorry, read that one again?
Discuss any needed updates after submittal to council at 11:15 work session. So
Alright.
that's on the capital improvement
Right.
plan.
And I think we discussed a couple changes the last time and those have been made, so
Okay,
we've got that.
well, we don't really need to get into that. I think I just left that, actually left that sentence on there inadvertently.
Okay, and I did think of one more thing I wanted to mention if I could, back on the apartments. Because for yet this year,
Oh, yeah.
a situation that's come up is that, if you recall at your last meeting, you did pass a supplemental appropriation. So we have, and correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, we have appropriated enough money for paying what we thought were some last bills. However, cash flow, the actual cash, is very, very low. Very low. Not enough to pay bills. So even though you've appropriated the money,
The cash balance
we're
isn't
stopping, we're cutting off. I mean, it's just gotta happen unless there's any emergency situations that we have to deal with. You know, certainly whatever revenues we get, during the month of December would cover that type of thing,
And
but
we
we
have-
also have to think about the property
Yes,
taxes
we have to
coming
be
in
planning
January,
to pay
so-
the property taxes in January, and so it is a big concern right now. We have to cut off expenditures at this point.
So work stops
It
Is
has
that, what- I
to.
mean, is that what
Yes.
happens?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't have a choice. We have to pay the property taxes in January.
And the worst thing that could happen is we rack up bills and then we get to pay them in 2012 and we didn't even figure it in. So
Mhm.
I don't want that happening either. We just can't have any surprises, so.
So
You hear
basically,
about
it's on
that,
hold
that's
now
what's going
until
on.
revenue, again, we were talking about this cash flow and revenue and
Right.
expenses.
Right, and just know,
We're
be clear
kinda
about it,
at a point where,
it's not that you have to appropriate more money, you did that. It's the cash for that
Right.
account
Right.
that we don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm reluctant to put general fund money towards it, you know, at this
Mhm.
point, for you guys to approve in advance to fill that gap, because I don't see a value in that. We can't keep draining our general fund.
Mhm.
okay,
Talk about your cash flow. I've never asked, never even thought about that, about,
The only place it's a problem is in apartments. It's not a problem I mean, in the summertime, you know, the pool and the golf course can be, but that's temporary because we know we're gonna have to supplement money from the general fund to get those up and running. Those
Mhm.
are just temporary situations, but the apartments is the only place that cash is ever a problem. And, I mean, really, you know, realistically, it became a problem because we used the 77,500 to make the debt payment. But
Right.
that was our plan,
Mhm.
that's what we intended to do with that money, and so we did it. And at that point, you know, cash flow became a problem, but that's the only place it's ever a problem.
hmm,
well, what's the fix?
Just don't spend.
Yeah, as we collect
Still
money,
spend.
we hold on to it and don't spend it so that we have the money in January to pay the property taxes. We've gotta have that money going into the new year to pay the property taxes,
mhm,
or else where's it gonna come from? General fund.
mhm.
Okay,
Well, and that's the reason why, you know, this meeting and little conversations don't cover the financial complexities of running the village, because it looks like revenue is coming in our first report today. Oh, we're doing good, you know, oh, we're ahead. You know, so people say, why do you need a levy? What are you doing? What are you doing with your money and so on? They don't understand this ebb and flow. They don't
Mhm.
understand the,
You can't look at a report and have an understanding. You have to, and I don't even have a full understanding. I've got to be in this for at least a year,
mhm,
one full cycle, to have a full understanding of what we're dealing with. If you look at the apartments, you know, as of October 31st, it looked like we had a fund balance of 60,000. Oh, we're doing great.
mhm.
That does not take into consideration that we know the debt payment is due December 1st, and so 77,500 had to come out of that 60,000. We're lucky we made that. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's not as easy as you cannot look at a report and make a snap
Right.
judgment. It
And,
just
and that's the
got another
reason
cycle.
I'm wanting us to talk about that, because I think, you know, for Maria's sake and for anybody, you know, and the videotaping, you know, because they walk out and say, they heard us say certain things and it doesn't match this, or it sounds like we're doing great. One conversation, one meeting, one report doesn't cover the
Yeah.
difficulties, the
Mhm.
challenges that we face,
Mhm.
and,
And we have to think about going into next year. We have to have
Right.
enough money to operate going into next year.
right. And I remember coming on to council and having this feeling just from being involved in several businesses and so on, that, so, okay, so you're out of cash, you know, you go and you go to the bank and you withdraw and you have cash again, you know. It doesn't work that way with this. And why do we move appropriations? I used to really get upset my first year on council because it seemed like we were always moving money. And I accused them of robbing Peter to pay Paul, you know, well,
Yeah.
hello. It took me a while,
And
you know.
appropriations doesn't
So-
always reflect poor planning. It reflects
No.
a change.
Right,
One that's often out of our control.
right. An
It's
unforeseen
necessa-
something
yeah,
that happens.
And it's necessary,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it can be a storm, it can be anything.
well,
Yeah.
too many of the things that, on the revenue side and the expense side, you know, you're unpredictable.
Mhm.
And when you're running close anyway, you know, a significant aberration in either income or expenses, and creates an immediate crisis. And you kind of have to work through that, like you're doing, stopping your spending until revenue catches up with expenses again, and then you go ahead and take care of the things you need to take care of, so.
Like the pipe breaking, not breaking,
Well, yeah,
rotting.
so, you know, we
Rotting
spend-
under Winton Road.
We spent, oh gosh.
I mean,
I thought you meant pipe breaking in apartments,
No,
which
I
would
just,
probably be worse.
well, that would be worse, but I mean, it's unforeseen things that can just totally.
Oh, they can. And, you know, if something unforeseen would happen in an apartment and we have to cover that expense, well, if we've already shot our wad doing improvements, just to do improvements
You
because
can't.
we think we're gonna rent it. And, you know, the reality is we could probably rent it. We get a lot of calls. But we'll rent it in January too. You know, if it saves our cash flow, I just think we've gotta do that.
Well, respond that way. Say, we aren't quite ready, but do call us in
Yes.
January. Yeah.
Well, the first, as far as selling units, the first resource we ought to mine there is probably the renters. I know of at least one renter that there is some interest in him buying his unit, a new renter. And I'll bet there's others. I know when I was passing out flyers, not this past election, but previous election 2 years ago, I was on Chalmers passing out flyers, and I was talking to some renters over there, and there were 2 or 3 of them over there. So you guys will sell these? And they weren't even aware that they could buy them. I don't know whether they were able to or had the credit rating or anything like that, but that would be the first step, is just to let the people that are already renting know that, hey, if you decide to buy this, if you've got good enough credit, frankly, you can probably buy this and your payments might even go down. So.
Well, and they will, and actually, you'd be happy to know we did that. Before the homeowner session that we had, I sent letters to all of our current tenants.
Oh, good.
And offered them the opportunity, and the ones I'm working with right now are existing tenants who are buying their units.
Oh, wow.
Who want to buy their units, so, in every case, they'll pay less on their mortgage than they're paying on rent, so they're very excited.
Will they
to-
close on that before the first of the year?
You know, I don't know, we do have some expenses. We have to split deeds, you know, we have to get individual deeds, some party wall agreements, things like that, that we have to take care of before we can do that, but, we'll try.
Okay.
Good.
Where are we? Well, capital improvement plan, I think we're finished with that. Any other business? Any new business? We never have any new business. Everything.
It's a new,
Everything's
every month is a new scenario. Look at it that way.
Yeah, they got new wrinkles on old
New-
stuff.
Yeah. Same
Okay.
appropriation, new issues.
Meeting adjourned.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you. Oh, Kim, thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks for.
Oh.
You're a notary,
Yes.
and we have 2 notaries or 3 on staff.
We have 2, possibly 3, if Georgia still is, we're not sure, but we have 2 definitely.
Oh, I
Okay.
think what Kathy is. Kathy Bowles is too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is
Who?
Kathy live?
Kathy Bowles is.
Okay, because I have a friend who sold a car, is selling a car, and the person's driving down Sunday from Columbus. And so they want to notarize it, and they know that because people aren't in business that day, so I thought, I need to find out, you know, if you would be available Sunday afternoon for them to drive to you or anything.
Brenda's a notary too.
She's already told me she wouldn't do it on Sunday. So,
Okay.
Sunday afternoon, yeah, I mean,
George's probably out of town.
I think I can do that. Do you want me to leave a phone number?
yeah, let
Okay.
me have a phone number, and because they were gonna check with, we know Simon's down here Insurance, and they are notaries.
Can't be excused.
Pardon?
I can go, can't I?
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
They are notaries but they travel a lot, and they're out of town a lot, and so, he was gonna check to see if they're gonna be in town Sunday and could use them, but he called me last night and said, is there anybody in the village? And I
Bye,
said,
Maria.
yeah, I think
See
we
ya.
do too. Bye, Maria.
Yeah, there's my cell and.
Okay, great. And you live in Springfield Township?
I'm in
or-
Wyoming.
Okay.
So not far.
No.
It's just, 7, 8 minutes up the
Yeah,
road.
well,
Okay.
they live here in the village, so
Okay.
that would work.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah.
You keep your stamp at home?
No, thank you for saying that, because I'll put it in my purse, but I could always come here if I
Okay.
needed to get it, so I'll
Well,
keep it in my purse.
they would like it to be as easy for you as possible,
Okay.
you know.
I'll keep it in my purse, and that way I'll have it. Okay,
That
thank you.
stamp will travel.
Yeah, I try not to carry it. I'm always afraid somebody's gonna snatch my purse out of my hands, and then I'll be
Then
responsible
you're,
for who
then
knows
you're a
what.
problem,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Time to go home and visit with my grandsons
This is
before
a-
football
this
gets